The night is quiet, and in a dimly lit elevator, a boy named Tsukasa notices a girl crying. Something about her sadness tugs at his heartstrings, and without knowing why, he falls for her instantly. But before he can say anything, the moment passes. Cut to the next day, it's Tsukasa Mizugaki's first day on the job at Terminal Service Number 1, part of the prestigious SAI Corporation. Rushing into the office, he's about to learn that this isn't your typical 9 to 5. His new role? Working with Giftias, highly advanced androids with a bittersweet secret. They can only live for 9 years and 4 months before they have to be retrieved. And who's Tsukasa's partner? None other than Isla, the very same girl from the elevator. Turns out she's a Giftia herself, and she's not just famous for her impeccable knowledge of herbs and tea. She's one of the most respected members of the team. But things get serious fast when Tsukasa is thrown into the field by his trainer, Michiru Kanushima, and her partner, Zach. Their job is to retrieve Giftias, and after a quick demonstration, it's clear this is no easy task. Soon, Tsukasa and Isla are assigned their first mission, to retrieve Nina, a child-type Giftia, from her elderly owner, Chizu Shirahana. Despite Isla's best efforts, Chizu refuses to speak with them, making Tsukasa question his partner's abilities. But eventually, Isla manages to get through to Nina, and Chizu overhears her saying she's ready to leave. Not because she wants to, but because she loves Chizu and doesn't want to be a burden. This realization hits Chizu hard, and in a touching moment, she tearfully allows Nina to be taken away. Afterward, Tsukasa meets Yasutaka Hanada, a laid-back veteran at the terminal service, who has a knack for annoying his partner, Sherry. Tsukasa is surprised to learn that Yasutaka has been doing this for over 10 years. When asked how Tsukasa landed the job, he sheepishly admits it's thanks to his father's connection with a higher-up, especially since he failed his entrance exams. Back in the field, another retrieval mission goes wrong, and Tsukasa takes the blame, even though it was Isla's fault. This weighs heavily on him, and he visits the unit testing room where Isla's physical abilities are being checked by Erumiru and Mikijiro Tetsuguro. Isla admits to Tsukasa that she's worried she's slowing him down after being off the field for so long. Concerned, Tsukasa steps in to handle the owner negotiations from now on, even though that's not really his job. Determined, Tsukasa creates his own manual for dealing with Giftia owners, getting help from Michiru and Zach. When he finishes, he bumps into Yasutaka again, who bluntly tells him that Isla's physical abilities are declining, and there's nothing anyone can do to stop it. The sad truth? Isla's time is running out. She has less than 2,000 hours left, which gives her less than 3 months to live. As if that wasn't enough to handle, Tsukasa is assigned to live with Isla in the company dormitory, as part of a rule for all retrieval teams. But instead of bonding with her, he's frustrated that Isla keeps ignoring him. His co-worker's well-meaning advice doesn't help either, until Kazuki, another veteran, gives him a useful tip. Isla isn't ignoring him on purpose. She just shuts down during her personal time. Kazuki suggests taking Isla out for a change of scenery. Tsukasa takes her advice and asks Isla to join him on an outing. They end up at a shopping mall, where Tsukasa, in a lighthearted attempt to connect, asks Isla to help him pick out herbs, secretly choosing ones that remind him of her. Then they visit an amusement park, where Tsukasa awkwardly admits that the person he was describing earlier was actually Isla herself. He just wants to make memories with her before time runs out. But Isla freezes up, emotionally shutting down as she tells him that she wasn't made to play at an amusement park. It's a crushing moment for Tsukasa, who watches her run off. Later that night, he buys a small pendant as a keepsake from the park. When he gives it to Isla, he tells her she can throw it away if she doesn't want it. It's a simple gesture, but one that carries the weight of their fleeting time together. After some hesitation, Isla nervously apologizes for running away earlier. Despite what Tsukasa was told by Eru, that Isla doesn't accept gifts, she surprises him by making an exception for the keychain, a small but significant gesture. Back at terminal service, things ramp up quickly when the team receives 7 new retrieval missions. Tsukasa and Isla are assigned to retrieve a Giftia named Marcia. But there's a catch. They're warned that criminals posing as terminal service employees are lurking around, stealing Giftias to sell on the black market. When Tsukasa and Isla arrive at Marcia's residence, they find she's been playing the role of an older sister to her owner, Soda Wakana, ever since his parents passed away. Soda, though, isn't too thrilled about their visit. He's cold towards them, and shockingly, he's willing to sign the retrieval form, dismissing Marcia as just a Giftia, claiming that Giftias can't be trusted to tell the truth. Tsukasa, disheartened, confides in Michiru about the situation. She advises him that the only way to change Soda's mind is to make him understand that Marcia truly cares for him. With a plan in mind, Tsukasa, Isla, and Marcia decide to bake Soda a birthday cake, with a little help from Michiru and Zack, of course. They model the cake after one from his birthday 3 years ago, when his family was still together. When Soda comes home and sees the cake, memories flood back, and he tearfully apologizes to Marcia, realizing how much she means to him. But the day before the retrieval, things take a dark turn. A shady man, pretending to be from the terminal service, visits Soda, claiming he's there to replace Tsukasa and Isla. He asks for Marcia. Later, while running errands, Marcia is ambushed and kidnapped by black market retrievers. Soda panics and calls Tsukasa and Isla, informing them of Marcia's disappearance. Suspecting it's the work of black market retrievers, Tsukasa vows to find her and bring her back. The entire terminal service team joins the search, but with only 24 hours left on Marcia's lifespan, time is running out. The team narrows down the search to an area where a black market operation might be happening, but their efforts are interrupted by a private security firm called Our Security, hired to assist with the investigation. Kazuki confronts their supervisor, Shinonome, who gives her a map of the area under their surveillance. As the terminal service team prepares to move in, Tsukasa is equipped with a special device, a gun-like tool designed to forcibly shut down Giftias that have turned into wanderers. Kazuki pulls Tsukasa aside, asking if Isla will be able to handle what's coming, but she drops the subject, sensing his unease. Michiru later opens up to Tsukasa, sharing how Kazuki once tried to retrieve her own father, a Giftia who had become a wanderer. The attempt failed tragically. Kazuki was injured, and her father had to be taken down by our security. This revelation weighs heavily on Tsukasa. Soon after, the team finds the black market retriever unconscious, and it's clear that Marcia has turned into a wanderer. Kazuki orders the team to stop her before our security can destroy her. Tsukasa and Isla finally track Marcia down, but they're not alone. Soda has followed them. In a heartbreaking moment, Marcia, now a wanderer, injures Isla and kidnaps Soda. Despite her wounds, Isla insists on continuing the pursuit, and together, they follow Marcia to a rooftop. There, Tsukasa nearly convinces her to surrender, but when Soda calls her name, something snaps in Marcia. She begins to strangle him. In a tense standoff, Tsukasa pulls out the software destruction device, ready to stop Marcia. But before he can fire, Isla leaps forward, throwing herself between them as the shot goes off. The scene shifts to the next morning at terminal service. Isla hasn't signed in, and the weight of the previous day hangs heavy in the air. Flashbacks reveal that Isla had been carrying the guilt of not accompanying Kazuki when she retrieved Michiru's father, a failure that led to Kazuki's injury and Isla's own decision to step back from active duty. In the present, it's confirmed, Tsukasa's device had hit its mark. Although Isla managed to block most of the blow, she still ends up injured by Marcia. With Isla under maintenance, Tsukasa is reassigned to desk duty. When he visits Isla, she notices he remains optimistic despite everything that's happened, and she quietly questions his feelings. After most of her repairs are finished, Isla returns to the office, realizing she's been paying much more attention to Tsukasa lately. She confides in Michiru and Eru, who mistakenly interpret her feelings as love, leading to some humorous attempts by Eru to help Isla observe Tsukasa. After multiple failed attempts, Isla admits her confusion over Tsukasa's constant optimism. Michiru then reveals that Tsukasa hasn't forgotten what happened with Marcia. In fact, he has even neglected his duties to go and personally apologize to Soda. She assumes Tsukasa is smiling to hide his sadness. Once her maintenance is fully complete, Isla rushes out to find Tsukasa but can't locate him. When night falls and Tsukasa still hasn't returned, Isla heads to the office, where she learns that she only has 1,000 hours, or about a month, left in her lifespan. Despite being offered a new partner, Tsukasa firmly declares that he wants to stay with Isla, which makes her happy. One morning, Tsukasa decides to ask Isla out on a date. While trying to find the right moment, he discovers that Isla has been quietly doing chores for him at their dorm and the office. When he asks her why, she explains that she wants to be useful to him, much to his embarrassment. After finally gathering his courage, Tsukasa asks Isla out, and she agrees. They decide to go to the amusement park where they'd been before. Isla reveals that she felt guilty for leaving him there during their last visit. Tsukasa later finds out from Isla's diary that she and Kazuki used to visit the park together back when they were partners. The next day, they head to the park and sit at Isla's favorite bench, where she used to watch the happiness of others. When Tsukasa learns Isla never tried any of the park's attractions, he takes her on a tour of the entire area, ending the day on the Ferris wheel. As they sit inside, Isla expresses her gratitude for being there with Tsukasa. While reflecting on Isla's happiness, Tsukasa suddenly faints from exhaustion, cutting the date short. When he wakes up, Isla apologizes for not telling him earlier that she only has 1,000 hours left. Tsukasa promises to stay with her until the end, no matter what. He then asks if they can go on another date, to which Isla smiles and takes his hand. As Tsukasa sleeps, Isla watches him with a look of doubt. Later, during a retrieval mission, Tsukasa is surprised when a Giftia's owner chooses to reset the Giftia's personality and memories instead of handing it over for proper retrieval. The owner has done this several times already, and Tsukasa becomes curious. He asks around the office if any Giftia has ever regained their old memories after such a reset, but no one has ever heard of such a case. Not long after, Kazuki announces that a marksman from Terminal Service Number 3 will join their next mission. Tsukasa and Isla are assigned to assist. When they meet the marksman, Andy, there's an awkward encounter with Eru, who mistakes Andy for her friend Olivia. After the mission is completed, Eru reveals to Tsukasa that Andy is Olivia, but her OS was replaced as part of a company cost-cutting measure. Later, Eru tells Tsukasa that Andy mentioned a carnival she used to visit when she was Olivia. The memory made Andy want to go there, but Eru isn't eager to revisit those memories. Tsukasa convinces Eru to join them anyway, and they take Isla and Andy to the carnival together. The night at the carnival, Eru decides to let go of Olivia and embrace making new memories with Andy. Later, Isla gets lost in the crowd, and Tsukasa eventually finds her, scared by the fireworks. As he comforts her, Isla brings up Andy and asks if her presence is hurting him. Tsukasa admits that it does, but insists on staying by her side because he loves her. Shocked by the sudden confession, Isla rejects his love. After being turned down by Isla, Tsukasa falls into a depressed state, which is evident to everyone at the office. Seeing this, Michiru asks Isla about it, and Isla confesses that she was confused when she rejected Tsukasa and now feels guilty about hurting him. Michiru suggests that they live apart for a few days to give Isla time to sort out her feelings. Isla moves in with Eru, and Tsukasa moves into Michiru's room. While Tsukasa recovers, Michiru consoles him and explains why she joined Terminal Service Number 1. The next day, she arranges for Tsukasa and Isla to have lunch together, during which they agree to give Isla more time to consider her true feelings. However, Michiru notices that they still behave like ordinary coworkers at the office. Michiru approaches Isla again, asking about her feelings for Tsukasa. Isla eventually admits that she does return his feelings, but reveals she only has about a month left to live. When Michiru angrily confronts Tsukasa about confessing despite knowing Isla's lifespan, he explains that he just wants to create meaningful memories for both of them. Michiru lashes out, warning him of the inevitable pain, but Tsukasa insists on staying with Isla. Later, Tsukasa returns to his dorm to find Kazuki waiting for him, along with Isla. Kazuki announces her decision to dissolve their partnership, citing a company policy that forbids romantic relationships between employees. She plans to reassign Tsukasa to work with Constance, while she partners with Isla. Although Tsukasa protests, Isla agrees, explaining that it's for the best. At the office, Tsukasa confronts Kazuki, who admits that she only dissolved their partnership to protect them from the pain of what's to come. Tsukasa and Isla go on separate retrieval missions, Tsukasa with Constance and Isla with Kazuki. During her mission, Isla befriends a Giftia named Sarah, owned by a mafia boss named Antonio. At the same time, Tsukasa talks with Constance about Isla's work history and learns that she had shut herself off emotionally after Kazuki dissolved their partnership 3 years ago. Back at the office, Kazuki reveals to Isla that she intentionally set up the mission to show her that avoiding Tsukasa will only create more painful memories. That night, Isla reflects on her separation from Kazuki and the expectations she once had. The next day, Isla returns to the office and approaches Tsukasa. She explains why she rejected him before and now admits that she wants to create more memories with him until the end. She finally confesses that she is in love with him. Now that they've started their relationship, both Tsukasa and Isla struggle to talk to each other without feeling embarrassed. Despite the looming end, Tsukasa manages to ask Isla out for dinner. Their colleagues offer advice, and Isla, with Michiru's help, learns how to cook Tsukasa's favorite dish, rice omelets. They fumble through the cooking process, but despite the imperfections, they enjoy the meal together. Later, Isla lets Tsukasa read her diary, where she has lovingly recorded their memories. As Tsukasa sleeps, Isla writes one more entry, hoping to spend another day with him. In the middle of the night, overwhelmed by her feelings, Isla breaks down and seeks comfort by sleeping next to him. The next morning, Isla's bright and cheerful demeanor returns, a mask that hides the inevitable. They continue spending time together, even watching a romantic movie with tickets from their friends. Despite taking the day off, they show up at work, knowing these moments are fleeting. One night, Tsukasa gives Isla the retrieval agreement. With a heavy heart, she approves. On their last retrieval mission together, Isla whispers something to Sarah before erasing her memories. When Tsukasa asks what she said, Isla reveals she hoped Sarah would reunite with the person she cherished. It's a haunting reminder of their own fate. On Isla's final day, they spend the morning reading her diary, cleaning their dorm, and tending to her herb garden. She leaves notes for her colleagues, each filled with gratitude for the memories they shared. Kazuki teases Isla one last time, and the two head to the amusement park. They laugh, reminisce, and soak in every fleeting second of happiness. As the park closes, they convince the operator to let them ride the Ferris wheel one last time. Sitting together, they express what they love most about each other. Isla admits she admired Tsukasa's strength in holding back his sadness, though it also worried her. She hands him her deactivation ring, wanting him to be the one to end her time. As Tsukasa puts the ring on, tears spill down his face. In her final moments, he kisses her, promising to remember her always. When her time expires, Tsukasa carries Isla's lifeless body back to the vehicle, where Kazuki thanks him for being there for her. He breaks down completely, overwhelmed by the loss. The terminal service employees read Isla's farewell letters, each filled with heartfelt gratitude for the time she spent with them. In the epilogue, Tsukasa rides the same elevator where he first met Isla. He wonders what it would be like if his own life was predetermined, concluding that he would live it to the fullest. 9 months later, Tsukasa returns to Terminal Service Number 1 and is introduced to his new Giftia.